Now, breaking news coming out of Spain, where the Football Association there has sacked the women's coach, Jorge Vilda. For more on this breaking news, we can talk to our presenter, Andy Richardson. I mean, this is a saga that has spiralled out of control, and the Spanish coach wasn't the one that committed the kiss, so why has he been fired?
Yeah, he's a big ally of a bit of context for everyone. This comes off the back of Luis Rubiales, the Federation president, kissing Jenny Hermoso, the World Cup winner, on the lips without her consent after their World Cup win, an action which has completely overshadowed the team's success on the pitch. Jorge Vilda, the coach of the women's team, a big ally and friend and staunch supporter of Rubiales. When the Football Federation held an extraordinary general meeting at which it was thought Rubiales would step down, when in fact he got up and defended his position, Rubiales was supported by Vilda at that meeting. Yesterday, we had the men's team, the Spanish men's team, issuing a statement saying they were appalled by what Rubiales had done and how it had taken away from the success of the women's team. So the pressure was growing, and Vilda has now lost his job as part of the wider reforms that the Federation presidents had promised to bring in. There was a meeting of the Spanish Federation in the wake of all this, and it was very telling that of the 140 members meeting, only 6 were women. And this was one of the things they promised was going to change. And really it seemed that his position was untenable. Also bearing in mind, there'd been so many complaints about Vilda from the players in the build-up to the World Cup. 12 of Spain's leading players didn't make it to the tournament because they'd fallen out with the coach. They said the training conditions were unacceptable, the atmosphere around the squad wasn't right. The Federation at that point backed Vilda. 12 leading players did not go to the World Cup because of discontent with the coach. And with everything that's happened subsequently, and the fact that we see now that it wasn't just an isolated incident, a moment of madness on the pitch, there was systemic problems within the Football Federation, Vilda really had to go, despite bringing the World Cup to his country.
This obviously now perhaps puts more pressure on the investigation around Luis Rubiales, because obviously FIFA are involved now. Yeah. How does this play out? Because, as you say, it's tarnished the whole victory by the ladies' team, yeah, and has put Spain in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and I think I think the reason it's become such a global story and not just a Spanish football story is that so many women involved in sports can look at what happened to Hermoso, look at what happened under Vilda with those players, and they can relate to it. There was a survey done by Women in Sport in the UK, which is an umbrella organisation representing lots of women involved in football, and they said that 80% of women had faced discrimination in the workplace, on the football pitch, but that only around 20% felt empowered to actually complain about it or do anything about it. So I think it's become an issue that has got global resonance. Rubiales officially is still in the job. He's a powerful man at UEFA, the European governing body, who's still not really come out and condemned his behaviour. He's a vice president there. He's a friend of the UEFA president, Alexander Ceferin. At the moment, he's still in a job, but FIFA, the world governing body, have suspended him from all football-related activity. There is an investigation ongoing. There's investigations ongoing within Spain as well. So at the moment, the Football Federation is going to allow those processes to play out before they take any action against him.
How does this all then impact, Andy, really on the wider topic that most probably teams across Europe and their club chairmen are actually discussing, you know, the way that the female players are being treated within the huge teams like Bayern Munich and Arsenal and Manchester United? I mean, you know, there's no scandal there at the moment, but inevitably, chairmen, team managers, coaches, everybody's going to be asked, is everything OK in our house? Yeah. Do we have something to worry about?
Absolutely, and I think that's what's come out over the last few days and weeks since this all happened. That is not just an isolated issue. This is not just Rubiales having a moment of euphoria and getting carried away on a platform in front of the world. This was just emblematic of far wider issues. We see in Spain, there was the coach prior to Vilda, Ignacio Correda. There were complaints repeatedly about his behaviour. But he was left in charge of the team for more than 20 years, despite players saying he's a bully, there are problems. the players were ignored. And I think what we have now is a situation whereby UEFA, FIFA, individual federations have to make sure that players are empowered. They have to have an ability to be listened to, an ability not to be ignored, because it's clear that in the past their complaints right up until this World Cup have just been ignored.
Andy, it's obviously a story that is going to evolve throughout the day here on Al Jazeera. Of course, we'll get more analysis from you and our teams across the world, really, on what's going on. Thanks very much.